1. We are live. What's going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning in at this time. Everybody that's here, I greatly appreciate it. Anybody watches on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna lower my seat here a little bit. There we go, so more center. But I appreciate you all coming in. So today was day 1 of the NBA draft, the Lakers draft. The draft kind of went how expected, right? Like, a couple surprises. Not a lot of movement, not a lot of changes, not a lot of I thought that there'd be a couple more trades, especially with all the rumors and talks about this team and that team and the other team all trying to move up and make an impact. And, it felt like kind of just like a normal day, right? It's just like, business as usual as far as the draft goes, which, isn't really a problem. That's fine. I'm okay with, business as usual when you're talking about the draft. But I would have liked to see a little more excitement, right? I guess. But nonetheless, look, thought it was a good day 1. We'll see what happens day 2. The Lakers, I fully expect to keep their draft pick. I don't think that they're going to trade that pick after drafting Knecht. I think that he's a guy that's ready to help now, ready to help the Lakers be a quality rotation piece and somebody that could be a real impact guy. I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited for this draft. Day 2 tomorrow, I think probably Bronny. We'll see if the Lakers draft him at 55 or if they end up moving up or doing something, but I don't expect anything to get done. I don't necessarily expect any trades or anything like that until we basically find out what's going on with D'Lo. Once D'Lo commits or doesn't commit, however it goes, that's when I think we'll kind of have a good understanding of okay, trades probably on the horizon, trades probably right around the corner. But right now I think it'll be, business as usual. Lakers will make their selection tomorrow. I think one way or another they end up with Bronny James. There's a lot of talks about Phoenix and all these other teams that were going to do X, Y, and Z, and we're going to steal Bronny from the Lakers. And so far, none of it happened. Could a team in the second round maybe do something? Sure. But I think more likely than not, what'll ultimately happen is Lakers will end up landing him one way or another. But regardless, I think it was a solid day. I really liked the pickup by the Lakers, and let's get into the chat real quick. Appreciate you all being here again. Answer questions real quick. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed, and let's get into it. I see a lot of questions piling in already. So let's get it. Thought Sar was going number 1 or was going first. I mean, yeah, it was kind of either him or Rizashah, right? I think, there was a lot of talks about Riz kind of going to Atlanta. I don't hate it. I thought that they were probably going to take Sar too, but Sar never worked out for them. So if Sar worked out for them, I think that they would have drafted him. But the fact that he, I don't know if he just didn't want to do it or if it was just sounded like a scheduling issue, but when he was able to work for other people. So, I don't know exactly what it was, but nonetheless, hey, he ended up going to what was it, Washington. So, good for them. Wish we would have gotten Edie. Knecht is okay though. Yeah, I mean, Edie would have been great. Don't get me wrong. Edie would have been solid, right? Especially at the center position. He is another guy that could help win now. Sorry, I need some water. My throat's a little parched, but he's a guy that could have helped now. He's a guy that I think would have, you could have slot in the backup center position or started him alongside Anthony Davis. Even Ware, I would have liked Ware. One, I didn't think Knecht would fall that far. I mean, I don't think anybody did. I mean, even Rob Pelinka was like, we weren't expecting him to be there. I mean, he was basically top 10 on everyone's board. So the fact that he ended up dropping all the way to 17, it's a no-brainer. So the one move that I thought was odd is Portland taking Clegan, right? So what are they going to do with DeAndre Ayton? Is Ayton going to be available? If so, should the Lakers maybe take a shot on Ayton? I just don't like his attitude. I don't like his attitude at all. But if he can kind of hone himself and get his act together, I think he'd be a real solid contributor. But I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but love Dalton. If JJ wasn't our coach, I'd be pissed. But I like this pick. I mean, the Rob Pelinka said in his like little presser that JJ was already writing up OTAs and everything and drawing up all kinds of like, pin downs for him and stuff. Which I mean, it's a JJ guy, right? I mean, this pick made sense for now and the future. This pick also, I think, is a move for JJ. Right, this is like a perfect guy for JJ, the type of offense that he's probably going to want to run, and just to have that kind of key rotation guy off the bench that can that can help immediately, right? Like this kind of screams like the Jaime Jaquez move, right? Like how a lot of people after Jaime Jaquez performed so well with Miami, this kind of feels like that for the Lakers now. Like this is like the mulligan on that. But I like him. Regardless, I didn't really talk about him because, again, I didn't think he was going to fall, right? I understood he was 23, but still, like, he was one of the better guys in this draft. He didn't have the upside that a lot of these other guys have, but a little surprising. But I think this is a solid pickup. Also, question, may pose this to you guys again later. Is this like Reeves insurance? I don't think that they trade Reeves. I don't. But I mean, there was a report even today that was like the Lakers could get DeJounte Murray if they trade Austin Reeves. Like literally all they have to do is trade Austin Reeves and DeJounte Murray's the Laker. Like, do they draft this guy and kind of wait? I don't know if that's on their mind right now, but once the dust settles, do they kind of think about it and go like, maybe we should pull it? Pick has grown on me. But it appears cool. Maybe he's a Mike Miller, Kyle Korver, Grayson Allen type with more potential. Yeah, I mean, probably like a bigger Grayson Allen because Grayson Allen can kind of put the ball on the deck, shoot the ball. Like Mike Miller and Kyle Korver were pretty much just like shooters. The thing that I like about Knecht is that like, he's a guy that can put the ball on the deck. He can handle it a little bit. He can make, a play on occasion. He's not a playmaker. Like he's not a guy you're running your offense through, but he's a guy that can, get the pump fake, put it on the deck, try to get to the basket, cutter, a roll man comes, boom, he can kick it out. Or, if the defense collapses, he can kick it out to the open shooter, right? Like, I think he's a little more versatile. Also, this is the kind of guy that the Lakers really like as far as like older, like adult type. Like the Lakers really do well in the draft, getting those adult type players to come in that can, he's 23, right? The upside probably isn't as high as it would be with some of the other guys, but he's more of like, hey, let's go now. And look, the Lakers, they already have their development guys, right? You got Jalen Hood-Schifino. You got Maxwell Lewis, right? You got a couple guys in the G League and two ways. You're probably signing a couple more this offseason or this, after the draft is all done, right? You're probably bringing in Bronny James. Right? Maybe you pick up another second round pick. So the Lakers, in my opinion, already have like the guys that they're looking to develop. This is a guy that can come in, make an impact now. He's like the perfect balance between now and the future, in my opinion. Sorry, give me a second. Darn it. Trae untrade. It's very possible. Very possible. Look, I've said from the beginning, and I still stand by it, that I think Trae is the most likely candidate. Right, if Atlanta really is looking to tear it down and trade DeJounte and Trae, I think the Lakers are probably most likely to get Trae. I like Trae a lot. I have my reservations. I have my concerns. Don't get me wrong, right? But I do think Trae. The upside with Trae would be insane. Obviously you still got to get a center and do a couple things, but I like if the Lakers could land Trae, I'm all for it. I would probably prefer Murray just because Trae is the better player, but Murray, I think with Murray, you can get more, right? So it's not like with Trae, it's pretty much just Trae and that's it. Where if you get Murray, you can make other moves. You could do other deals potentially. Obviously it depends on what you give up for Murray, but you may be able to do other deals. Do you think the Lakers have too many guards? No, not necessarily. Also, we don't know what type of trades or what type of moves they're going to do. one of the things that I said in my video on this acquisition is like, where do they slot him? Because he's probably best as a 2, right? I mean, he's capable of playing the 3. Absolutely. I mean, he's like, he's 6'6", 6'5". But he's probably best with his size and his capabilities at the 2 guard. So, but the thing is, like, you look at the roster and it's like, well, okay, you have D'Lo's probably gone either way. Like the point guard position, definitely you're probably going to have to fill. But the 2 guard, it's kind of where we have an abundance, right? Because you have Austin Reeves, you have Max Christie, you have, I mean, Maxwell Lewis can even slide over and play the 2. Does this signal Prince is gone, right? Now that they got him, because now you don't need Prince. Like, and Prince is probably best playing the 2 also. I mean, you could still bring in Prince and play one at the 3, but it's just like, where do you slot him at? Right. And then even at the 3, right? Okay, well, if Rui's gone, sure, you could use him in place of Rui and start Vando. But it's just, again, it's kind of like it's interesting to see. I don't know if they necessarily have too many guards yet, but you kind of question, like, okay, well, Max is the guy of the future, and Reeves, like, at some point you move Reeves to the point, but if you go get a Trey or a DeJounte, well, then you're probably not doing that. Like, it's kind of why I'm like, it's odd, right? But I'll be patient. I'll let it play out. The 55th pick is probably going to go to Bronny. I think Bronny and the Lakers is a lock too, right? There was all the talk, all the murmurs of like, oh, well, this team or that team or the other team or this team is going to draft Bronny. None of them did, right? I think it's always been Bronny. Look, I've said before, like, if I was one of these teams, especially in the second round, like, I would almost hold the Lakers' feet to the fire, right? Like, all right, we're going to draft Bronny unless you trade. Like, if I have like the 35th pick, right? Let's say the 35th pick. How bad do you guys want Bronny? Like, LeBron hasn't re-signed. Like, I could draft Bronny, or I could, you work out a deal with me, right? Give me the 55th pick, plus give me a future second or 2, right? Like, really hold the Lakers down. I mean, obviously I don't want that to happen, but that's business, right? So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how things play out tomorrow, but I think in the end, Bronny will be a Laker. I am really happy with our pick. I think we're running it back, unfortunately, and I was all for trading our pick, but getting Dalton, I'm very happy, and we made up for our Whitmore Hawkes last draft. Yeah, that's kind of what this felt like. Kind of feels like that mulligan. I was talking about that earlier with, missing out on Jaime Hawkes. I still think the Lakers pull off some type of trades, make some type of moves. What that is, I don't know yet. I even said in my video earlier today, right, before the draft even began, I said, don't expect a trade today. I don't think anything's going to happen today because the Lakers have to wait for D'Lo. I mean, they don't have to. They could get a deal done or even a smaller deal done or even a bigger deal done right now. But more likely than not, the Lakers are going to be patient and wait, because if D'Lo opts in, that gives you so much more flexibility, right? If D'Lo opts out, well, then now you got to kind of work some other stuff out. Is it possible that they kind of just run it back? Sure. Right? Do they just go, basically, keep Knecht, go get not Jaime Hawkes, Jonas Valanciunas, right? Do they go get Valanciunas, Hawkes, take a flyer on like a Kevin Porter Jr. and let's go? It's always a possibility. Maybe bring in like a Chris Paul or something. It's always a possibility. Wait till the trade deadline, see what happens. But I'd like to see them do something. Like, even if the Lakers just go get, say, like a Dorian Finney-Smith, right? Like, how much can Dorian Finney-Smith cost? Right? Like, go get him. That we got at least a 3-and-D guy, and then I don't know. And then from there, figure it out, right? Obviously, again, go get like a Valanciunas or whatever. But I'm glad the Lakers didn't feel forced to take Bronny at 17. Woo. Not at 17, though. 55 should be okay if you fall. Yeah, like, I'm totally okay with the Lakers drafting Bronny. I've even talked about how, like, I think Bronny will develop better with the Lakers than he will anywhere else because LeBron is on the Lakers, right? So LeBron now, when they get Bronny, LeBron can basically just take his time developing Bronny, right? Now, a lot of, like, obviously LeBron, I'm sure, has worked with Bronny and he does workouts and they train and they do all that stuff. But it's one thing when you're doing it in your spare time, right? It's one thing when it's like, oh yeah, you're at home and you're getting a good workout in or whatever, and you're just working on stuff. It's another thing when you work together. It's another thing when you're in the same facility 24/7, 365 together in the gym, in the weight room, in everything. It just makes it so much easier. So LeBron's going to work with Bronny more than anybody else would work with Bronny, right? Like, most rookies get a vet, and that vet basically makes you wash laundry and do all this crazy stuff. LeBron's probably going to make his son do a bunch of crazy stuff, right? Because it's like, this is my time, right? Like, but LeBron will also probably work with him in ways that no one else will take the time to work with. So that's why I actually like the idea of bringing in Bronny, because Bronny, right out the gate, at worst, I think Bronny's like an Avery Bradley type. 3-and-D, can knock down the three ball, defend at the point guard position. You know, a good case scenario, he becomes like a White, right? You know, or like a Drew Holiday. You know, best case scenario, he becomes like a legit star, all-star level point guard. You know, like, he has the vision, he has the defense, he has the shooting capability, or at least it looks that way. Like, there's good gems there. He has his dad's athleticism, right? Like, there's a lot of good there, but we'll see. Now Ayton is about to have extreme competition in Glegan. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that was the only, like, why to me, right? Like, that was just really odd to me. It's like, you have Ayton. You can't play, like, I mean, you could, but I just don't see Ayton and Clegan working well together. Like, neither are really floor spacers. Like, I don't know. That was an odd move to me. We still need a big and a 3-and-D wing. Nice pick. Can't lie. But he's just a shooter. I guess JJ loves his shooters. I mean, he's not a terrible defender. He's not like elite lockdown, like, you put him on your best guy. Like, he's not Jared Vanderbilt, but he's probably like Austin Reeves in the playoffs, right? Like, Reeves was terrible in the regular season, but he was actually really good in the playoffs. Held his own, stay in front of guys. Like, Knecht is a guy that can move his feet well. I think he can stay in front of guys, just be serviceable. He's not a guy that's going to lock down. Like, he's not OG, right? Like, he's a guy that you're looking to kind of be a floor spacer, play off ball, run some different actions for him, but also just be serviceable on the defensive side. It's all we need you to be. I think we're all set to draft Bronny now. Yeah, agreed. At this point, I'll be very surprised if the Lakers don't draft Bronny. Like, if the Lakers don't end up with Bronny, right? Like, I just think if anybody was going to take him, they would have taken him, like, taken a flyer on him. Again, will the team maybe kind of hold the Lakers' feet to the fire? That's always a possibility, but Snorlax, yo, Tyler, let's go. Love this pick and was shocked he fell that far. I was too, very shocked. I wanted Daron Holmes and was sad he went to the Ops, the Nuggets. Yeah, but DK is damn good still. Yeah, like I said, I wanted like Edie, Holmes, or Ware. Like, I wanted one of those guys. I was leaning more towards Holmes or Ware just because, like, I just think that they're better, like, modern NBA bigs. But as soon as, I mean, Edie went number 9. The Heat took Ware. So it was like, man. And then it's like, wait a minute. Like, Dalton's there. Like, why aren't we, like, he's top 10 guy. Like, I was surprised that he actually went there. Dalton is a bigger version of Austin Reeves. Yeah, a lot of similarities. I could definitely see that. I love the pick too. I'm with you. I feel like Knecht is our Cam Thomas, comparable from Brooklyn. I mean, there's always that potential. Just be a bucket getter. Just be like a vacuum scorer off the bench. I could definitely see something like that. I love it. And I love it. Him and Austin Reeves, great shooters. We need shooters. Prince probably won't be back though. That's kind of what I was thinking too. Like, is this like the Prince replacement? I mean, you could still bring Prince back. It just depends on the cost, right? Like, is he willing to take a vet minimum? I don't mind it. You know, you can't have too many shooters. So, you know, and especially Redick, you know, JJ wants to shoot more threes. So if you're going to shoot more threes, you kind of want to stockpile on a couple 3-point shooters. So let's see. I really hope the Lakers don't waste their pick tomorrow on Bronny. I mean, at 55, it's not a waste. You know, like, who are they going to draft at 55 that has better upside and potential than Bronny? Like, clear better upside and potential than Bronny, right? Like, it's just, like, again, it's like you're talking about the 55th pick. You're what? Because I think one team doesn't have a second round pick, right? So you're talking like 4 picks away from undrafted. If Bronny's there at 55, take him. Like, you're more likely than not. You know, you never really know. It's always a crapshoot. But Bronny could end up being great. Like, what if Bronny turns out to be great? And again, no one's going to work harder to make Bronny great than LeBron James, right? Like, so again, it's like, get it. Like, let's get him. Like, I'm all for getting Bronny. If the Lakers would have drafted him at 17, I would have lost my mind. They weren't going to. I even was talking about, like, they're not going to do that. But at 55, like, go for it. Like, again, who are you getting that's better? And who are you getting that's better that wouldn't be there undrafted that you could probably just two-way, right? Like, you know, and then you got to think of financial implications. There's a lot that goes into it. But Bronny going to I'm assuming the Lakers. I think so. Yes. I like Austin Reeves and Dalton Knecht in the plans and reigns of JJ Redick. I think so too. I think JJ's going to have some fun with those guys. I feel like DK can be our Michael Porter Jr. light, even if he's smaller than Michael Porter Jr. Yeah, I mean, his ability to shoot the ball, put the ball on the deck. I mean, there are definitely some similarities. You know, the potential's there, right? Michael Porter Jr.'s tough, right? But I like Knecht. I think he definitely could be a guy that has a real impact. Christian, coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the super chat. Thank you. The Knicks and Portland have destroyed the market. I don't see the Lakers having the capital to go get Murray. What are your thoughts? It's definitely a concern, right? Like, yeah. So the Mikal Bridges trade, I don't. There we go. That was odd. Sorry. Screen. Right? Like, I'm not worried about that. To me, I look at the Bridges trade as Rudy Gobert, right? Like, that didn't change the market. Everyone was just kind of like, that was an outlier. They got fleeced, right? It's kind of what this feels like. I think everyone kind of knows the situation with the Knicks. It was like they really wanted their guy. Mikal Bridges was really their guy. You're going to have to overpay for him, right? And they wanted that Villanova connection, right? So it was just, I think people are going to look at that as circumstance. I don't think the Bridges trade really affects the market at all. My concern is the Portland move might, because they paid pretty hefty. Although, again, this draft was looked at as trash, right? And so the 14th pick, like, what was everyone saying? Take the top 6 to 8 guys in a normal draft, cut that off, and then start selecting. So if you use that math, then the 14th pick was really like the 20th to 23rd pick, right? Like, I don't know. It's look, people are going to demand stuff. Also, there are so many sellers that the Lakers might just luck into something naturally, right? Because there's only so many buyers, and you're seeing a lot of the buyers already starting to get taken off the market. A lot of people are already getting taken off the market. You got teams like the Nets, the Bulls, right? You got Atlanta. You got several other teams that are going to come out of the woodworks that are going to try to move stuff and move pieces and make trades. And there's only a handful of teams that are really trying to make a big impact move. So my thing is that, like, I think the Lakers will get something. Now, is that Trey? Is that DeJounte? Is that anything major like that? That I don't know, right? I've said from the beginning, I think most likely it's Trey, just because I think his market is essentially going to be non-existent. So I think if the Lakers really want a big splash guy, it's Trey Young. I don't think DeJounte Murray is out of the realm of possibility, but I just think that there's going to be more competition for Murray, right? Like, I just think more teams are going to be vying to try to get Murray. So it might make things challenging. But you also got to keep in mind, players are only what people are willing to pay for them. And two, with the new CBA, it's very, very different. You got to understand, like, Denny was a guy that he's young. I mean, he's old enough to be drafted in this year's draft, right? Like, it was just circumstances. So I don't think it impacts it as much as people think. I think you'll see some trades. I still think the Lakers are basically in the same spot they were before those trades, where, you know, it's probably a bit of a long shot. Like, I think it can happen. Look, if the Lakers trade Austin Reeves, DeJounte Murray will be a Laker. Like, there are literal reports that are like, the only reason DeJounte Murray isn't a Laker right now is because they won't trade Austin Reeves. If they don't want to trade Austin Reeves and they refuse to trade Austin Reeves, then I think that it makes things a lot more difficult. Again, we'll see, but it's definitely going to be a challenge. I'll put it that way. But Christian, thank you, appreciate you. Let's see, where was I in the chat? Shoot, and on a second, I lost my spot. Oh, here we go. I'm here. We're back. Is this Dalton's draft rights being part of the trades coming? I have a feeling we are making more than one trade. It's very possible we could end up making more than one trade, but will they trade Dalton? I don't know. We'll see. Bronny is a lock to be a Laker for sure. Ain't miss a chance to make Bron happy and to make history. Yeah, I think so too. If it weren't for LeBron, would the Lakers even consider Bronny? I don't know. I mean, it depends on how good of a workout he had, right? Like, and what the Lakers perceived from him compared to everyone else, right? Like, I don't think the Lakers would be against it. But like, the problem is like, the reports were like, oh, Bronny's had a really good workout, and all we've heard is that Bronny's been really good in workouts. The problem is like, everyone's always really good in workouts, and how many people are just saying that because of LeBron? The reason it's hard to answer that question is because the LeBron factor. If you remove the LeBron factor entirely, right? What does, like, how, like, now you're talking about just like a neutral, like, say LeBron never existed, right? Because here's the thing, even if LeBron wasn't a Laker and Bronny was still in the league, there would still be this. You'd have to basically, like, LeBron would have to be like retired. But even then you could argue, like, man, we could have LeBron and all his power and clutch attached to our organization, right? So it's like, the only way to really know is if, like, LeBron just didn't exist and it was like, okay, how did Bronny stack up in workouts compared to everyone else, right? Which is a problem, right? LeBron, though, what's going on? Yes, I actually really love the draft pick, top 10 projected pick. Falling to the 17th is great for us. Get Bronny tomorrow, please. I am right there with you, and I do believe Bronny will be a Laker tomorrow. One way or another, I do. Please, not Trae Young. I'd take just about any other player. Like I said, Trae Young is, dude, he's averaged 25 and 10 3 straight years, right? Like, him and Anthony Davis would make a tough duo, right? Like, if we didn't have LeBron at all, I'd be like, let's go get Trae. Like that's a no-brainer to me. My biggest concern is, can LeBron and Trae play together, right? But if JJ can convince LeBron to play more off ball, then Trae makes even more sense, because you can kind of just run everything through Trae and take the pressure off of LeBron. I don't hate Trae. It's just, there are questions of, like, even after LeBron, where does Trae and Anthony Davis rank as far as duos go? again, it just depends on which Trey shows up, right? Like, and you know, Trey was really good, like really good the last few. Like the DeJounte Murray kind of like ruined everything for everybody, right? Because it made DeJounte look worse, it made Trey look worse, it made Atlanta look worse. It was a terrible decision, right? But like Trey Young is a proven guy that like led a team to the conference finals and wasn't that far off from potentially going to the NBA finals. And he played off ball well. Like 2 seasons ago, he shot like 61% or 56% or something crazy like that off the top of my head. It was like a made up number on catch and shoot threes. Like, so can he get back to that? I don't know. Connects. Braun 80, AR, DK, and MC are the players I think will for sure be on the opening day roster. Yeah, definitely. I'm there. I don't think that they trade Reese. It's just, like I said, it's just kind of a question. Is this something where they like, oh, maybe consider it? The Lakers need another legit defender, rim protector, rebounder to play in the paint. Agreed. I'm sure that they'll address that I'm sure they'll address that in the free agency or maybe like a minor trade. We'll see. Get Prince out of there. I don't mind Prince. Like, I think a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth for Taurean Prince because of Darvin Ham. I mean, Taurean Prince did everything we could ask for from him and then some. And it's just like Darvin Ham just overutilized him. Like, I think if he sticks around and he plays for JJ, I think people are going to be like, I'm so glad we kept Prince. Right? Because, like, again, everything that we need, he just got overutilized, right? Like, according to JJ, he has specific ideas about how to better utilize Rui, but I think Rui might be moved in a deal. If the Lakers are going to make a trade, they're going to have to give up somebody. Rui's probably going to go somebody like, and of course, like JJ, when he's being asked these questions, like he only has the guys. He can't be like, oh yeah, when we get Trae Young, man, I could, because he doesn't know if they can get Trae Young. 2, even if they do, like he can't like put that out there, right? Like dampering and stuff. Like, so it's just, he can only use the pieces that he has now, right? Like, I think Prince will stick. I wouldn't mind it. I believe D'Lo will be. I think D'Lo's gone one way or another. I don't know if it's he opts out or if it's he trades. Who do you want to see drafted instead of Knecht at 17? I wouldn't mind Holmes or Silva. Like, yeah, like those 2 guys would have been nice. Who else was there at that time that I wouldn't have mind? Like, I probably would have went with Daron Holmes because I just, you're talking about a versatile. I mean, he shot like 39% from 3 for a big man. There's questions about like, him. He's like 6'10", right? He's not like a true 7-footer, but he's more versatile, floor running big, can block shots, can defend. I wouldn't have mind something like that. Prince and Gabe for Daron Sharp. I wouldn't mind Sharp. I think the vulnerable Lakers will be Rui, Vincent, Vando, and Wood. Yes, I think so too. KCP would be nice, but I wouldn't hold your breath on that. Man, we need DeJounte from these teams in the West are stacked with Minnesota. Just got even better. Not going to lie. I'd like DeJounte. Maybe see what's up with Zach in a center. Yeah, I'd be all for that. Let's see. We have Vando, Dorian Finney-Smith is redundant. Need more rim protection, rebounding. Dorian Finney-Smith is definitely not redundant, even with Vando. Vando doesn't shoot. Vando's the better defender, but the problem is the offensive inefficiencies. Dorian Finney-Smith, 1, is a legit 2-way guy in this league, and 2, like, you can never have too many. I mean, look at like Boston, for example, right? Look at, even Minnesota and like what they were doing. I mean, they have like 3-and-D wings for days, right? Like all the top teams all had that. I mean, look at Dallas, right? They had several. Right? Like Dorian Finney-Smith is the opposite of redundant. He is still a necessity at this point. Yes, the Lakers need rim protection and rebounding, absolutely. But who is that? Right? Like, again, it's about what's out there and what's available. Right? Like Andre Drummond helps with the rebounding. Not a great rim protector. I mean, he could block shots. Same thing with like a Valanciunas. Like, great rebounder, could score, but he's not a great rim protector. Again, it's kind of the opposite. Bridget, click the like button, guys. Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yes, take a quick second, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Also, do both. I know I'm like, and I'm sorry, I got like my stream playing here. I want to see my. I know I was like closing in on. Was it like 21,300 or something like that? Or, I'm 2 subs away from 21,300. So hit that subscribe button. I know that there's at least 2 of you that aren't subscribed. Subscribe. Dorian Finney-Smith can shoot. Dorian Finney-Smith doesn't score enough. He's not supposed to. He's a 3-and-D guy, right? Like not everyone on your roster is going to score 20 points a game, right? Like it just doesn't happen, right? So you have LeBron, you have AD. You need a guy that in Dorian Finney-Smith that can defend and knock down the open shot. You're only looking for like 9 points a game. Can Dorian Finney-Smith knock down 3 threes a game? It'll give you 6 to 8 or not 8 to 9 points a game. Like that's all you're looking for. It's about the versatility. It's about the defense. It's about, certain lineups and being able to match up against the teams like, Dallas and Denver and Minnie and the Celtics. And personally, I prefer Vando over Dorian Finney-Smith. That's just me. I love the hustle player. I don't want to trade Jared Vanderbilt at all. Like, I'm not saying swap Vando for Dorian Finney-Smith. My thing is if you can get Dorian Finney-Smith, you do it, in my opinion. I really thought the Hornets were going to take Cleveland. Yeah, there was a lot of talks about that. The trio, LaMelo, Miller, and Cleveland would have been fire, but I guess they didn't want that yet. Let's see. Start trying to find something. Let's see. I hope the Lakers draft Bronny tomorrow. I'm pretty confident they will. I mean, I don't know that for certain, but I'm pretty confident that the Lakers end up drafting Bronny. History will be made tomorrow. LeBron Sr. and Jr. on the same team. Let's go, Laker Nation. I'm right there with you. Bronny is not NBA ready. He wouldn't make any team without LeBron, but he doesn't have to be. Again, Lakers need at the 55th pick. You're not necessarily asking for somebody to be NBA ready. You're looking for somebody that has the upside and potential to develop and grow. Again, what have the Lakers kept talking about? What is the system that the Lakers keep trying to build? They want to build an infrastructure that can grow, develop, and kind of create that homegrown talent, right? Like Bronny is that. He's a guy that you can bring in, that you can spend the next 3-4 years developing. So that way, when this wave of current guys end up falling off, boom, now you got the next wave, right? Like at 55, you're more likely than not drafting a guy that's going to come in and be a superstar. There's only been like a handful of players in the history of the league that have been drafted that late that have had an impact period. Most of those guys aren't in the league in a few years, right? So I feel the Lakers got a player who can step in and play right away. Solid, safe pick for this team. Agreed. I'm right there with you, Jason. First off, hey, buddy, how are you doing? Secondly, yeah, I think I really like this pick. I thought this was, you're talking about a top 10 talent or what most people perceived as a top 10 talent, a guy that's ready now, which goes with the Lakers. That's a team that is kind of in that influx, right? They're a team that wants to win now, but they also want to have some young talent. I think that this is kind of like the best of both worlds. But I see the potential, even if it's an older rookie. Yeah, definitely. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Whose man is this? What's up, look? Great work, young man. I truly appreciate your dedication, hard work. Well, thank you, Carl. Seriously, I appreciate that. Appreciate you watching. Seriously, thank you. Got to work hard for things that you want, right? I want to be a staple in this space, and got to work hard for that, right? I like Hood-Schifino being a backup point guard. Look, I think he has a lot of potential. I mean, he was tearing it up in the G League. I know a lot of people think he's a bust already. I don't know how you can come to that conclusion when he didn't play any actual real NBA minutes, right? Like the only time he ever really did play, and it was very few. I mean, he only averaged like 3 minutes a game, and that was all garbage time. And in that time, you're not playing structured basketball. You're just like trying to get through the last minute or two of action, right? Like, so again, Jalen Hood-Schifino, he's got good size, good foot speed. He's got good intangibles. So, let's see. JJ Redick might be a first-time coach, but I think it might not be a good fit for the Lakers. Basically, got to get JJ a chance to coach. Yeah, you got to at least give him a shot, right? Lakers have too many players on the roster, have to make some moves. I mean, they technically don't, but I do think that they'll start doing something. Let's see. The Trae Young hate is so overblown, especially on defense. He's like a top 15 or 20 in steals and top 10 in charges drawn, etc. Look, like I said, I like Trae Young. If you told me tomorrow the Lakers traded for Trae Young, I would be pumped. I would be very excited. I have my concerns. I have my reservations. Again, right? Like, there are definitely some concerns with Trae, but Trae and Anthony Davis make a ton of sense, right? I'm all for it. I would keep D'Lo. His play got us to the playoffs. Yeah, he had a bad game, but he's a baller. I'll get DeMar DeRozan. He's a dog, and he clutch, and Murray and a big. Well, problem is you wouldn't be able to do all that more likely than not without losing D'Lo, because how do you get DeMar DeRozan if D'Lo ends up staying, right? So can't do that, and then you could trade and go get Murray, but then you wouldn't have the money to send DeMar. Let's see. DK was a projected top 7 pick, a lottery pick. The reason he's probably slid because he's 23. I'm pretty confident that's what that is. Like, if I had to put money on it, I'd put money that's exactly what it is. If he was like 20, he probably would have been a top 7 pick. He definitely a steal at 17, that type ish. Yes. Let's see. I kind of think the Lakers would have taken mobile, athletic, and versatile big and Khalil Ware, but the Heat got him first. I think if Ware was on the table, I think the Lakers would have taken him too. So, for those that like really wanted Knecht, well, you got him probably because Ware wasn't there. Let's see. I don't know much about the draft, but is he a guard? We got a good playmaker. I wouldn't know. Definitely not that. He's more of like a wing than he is a guard, right? He's a guy that you're slotting in at the 2 or the 3. He's not a playmaker. He can make a play, right? Like, he's a guy that can put the ball on the deck, get to the basket a little bit, pull up in the mid-range. He's a legit 3-level scorer out of college, right? So he's a guy that can do a little bit of everything, but also he's a guy that can, if let's say he's driving to the basket and you got a cutter, or a roll man, like he can dump it down to that guy. He can find the open man, kick it out to the corner or something, right? He has value there, definitely. Are we going to lose the 17th pick, DK, for a trade? It's definitely a possibility. So the fact that they drafted a 23-year-old kind of signals to me that they're probably not going to trade that pick. If push comes to shove, I think they will, right? Like, if they can get DeJounte Murray and give him up, they'll do it, right? Like, let's say they can keep Reeves. Let's say it's Reeves or it's Knecht's gone, right? But I think the intentions is to keep him. Like, I think that they drafted him with full intents and purposes of like, hey, we need to keep this guy. So Dalton K, second in lane agility, first in shuttle run, and a 39-inch vertical leap. Yes, he definitely has that athleticism, right? He's definitely got a little bit of foot speed. His first step is pretty good, right? I think he's going to translate well. Let's see. Just now joining, who would you like to see us target in free agency? I feel like we need a physical 5, but good odds of picking up a Drummond, Wiseman, Giannis. So first off, thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Secondly, I definitely think the Lakers are going to target a big man in free agency. It'll basically boil down to who can they get on the cheap. You know, Jonas Valanciunas, I would probably prefer out of everybody. I wouldn't mind taking a flyer on Wiseman, and I'll probably dive into a video like once we get through the draft and everything tomorrow and like the coming days for free agency. I'll probably do a video dedicated to Wiseman. I still think Wiseman has potential, and there are moments where he's looked great. I just think he needs that fit, right? I think San Antonio or not San Antonio, Golden State. I just don't think he worked and made sense with Golden State. And then in Detroit, they just like they're a team with like 5 centers, right? So it was kind of like, I don't know, it just didn't make sense to me why they took Wiseman. So I just think he's just kind of had a bad roll of the dice. But I do think he needs development. I don't think he's like, oh, here we go, plug him in now and let's get it. I think he's a guy you probably got to spend a year or two bringing in. So in a perfect world, you get Jonas Valanciunas. I wouldn't mind Andre Drummond. But those are the guys I definitely want to see them target. Outside of like the center position, like can we get a Kevin Porter Jr., right? He needs to kind of rebrand his image, right? Can we get him on like a Malik Monk type thing where he's trying to come and raise his stock? Depending on how the roster shapes up, if we end up making a trade and we need a point guard, I wouldn't mind bringing in Chris Paul off the bench. I don't know about making him your starter, but off the bench to kind of control things when LeBron goes to the bench. I'd love that. So definitely those kind of pieces. And then, just try to get trying to find those diamonds in the rough, right? Because you're basically looking at just a bunch of vet minimums. So can you get a couple guys that are essentially, looking to raise their stock that, maybe are better than, maybe they're like $5 million a year guys, but like, they're willing to take the vet minimum just to maybe get to like 8 to 10 million. Can we get Levine? Can we? Yes. Will we? Probably not. It's always possible. If D'Lo opts in, it's very possible. If D'Lo doesn't, then I would be very confident that that's not going to happen. Again, you never really know. Can we again? Yes. Will we? Probably not. I wouldn't count on it. Although I don't mind Zach LaVine. I like Zach LaVine. I know we took BPA is Dalton. I would have been foolish not to take BPA. Yes. Agreed. Always got it for BPA, best player available for those that wondering what that is. Hit that like button, y'all. Yes, Rob, thank you so much. Yes, please take a quick second. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Did we get to 21,300? We did. 21,300. Perfect. Start climbing towards 22,000. That'd be incredible. Appreciate you guys. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. People are beautiful. How likely is we to tell D'Lo to opt out and give him more than his market value, then make a trade? So if that were to happen, and again, this is just my guess, don't know this. If that were to happen, D'Lo opts out, can't find a deal anywhere else, and then comes crawling back to the Lakers, and the Lakers go, okay, we'll re-sign you, but we'll trade you. Or D'Lo kind of uses that, like, let's say there's not a good, like, say teams are only looking to give him, I don't know, 15 million, and the Lakers can't find a deal. Could they go, okay, tell you what, we'll give you 25 million for 1 year, and then we're just going to trade you just to let you know, and then try to work something out at the trade deadline? Because you got to keep in mind, the Lakers did that. D'Lo wouldn't be able to be traded till December 15th, I think. Well, I think it depends on when he signs, but I think it's December 15th. So, yes, just something to keep in mind. Is it possible that happens? Sure, right? Like, depending on how this offseason shakes up, that may end up being the best option. That may end up being the best choice, is like inflate D'Lo's contract for a year. Like, basically give him the Bruce Brown treatment, right? Give him a 1+1, but a team option. Right. So you give him, 2 years, 50 million, but year 2 is a team option, and, he gets to, and then you end up looking to trade him. So that's probably the best course of action. Oh, I just got a notification. Which team? Oh, that's nothing. Just making sure. But moving on. I feel. Oh, nope, don't do that. Hang all right, there we go. I feel like we also have a major logjam at the guard spot, the 1 and 2 spot. I'm gonna have to shed some players. Yeah, like that's my concern. Is like again, like you have Reeves, you have Christie, and now you're gonna have Knecht, which again he could probably slot to the 3, but I think he'll be best at the 2, right? And that basically shooting guard role. So it is definitely something of concern, right? It's definitely a question mark. Who looks good at number 55? Should we trade to move up? I think the Lakers take Bronny. I really don't think they're going to take anybody else. The Lakers worked out a couple guys, but they were mostly like guys that are projected to go undrafted. I think the Lakers draft Bronny, and then could they maybe get a second round pick just because there's somebody else that they like? Sure, it's always a possibility. But if I had to guess, Bronny's the pick at 55. The fact that all the teams that were supposed to take a flyer on him and none of them did, which I didn't believe any of them were, I think told you everything you needed to know. It looks like Reeves is staying. He's a dog, and he's only going to keep improving. I don't mind. Look, I like Reeves. I like Reeves a lot. I think he's like, look, I hyped Reeves up tremendously. I said I thought he could be a 20-point-a-game guy. If Austin Reeves shot 38 to 40% like I thought he would from three-point range, he would have been a 20-point-a-game guy. I like Reeves a lot. I do. I'm totally okay with the Lakers keeping Austin Reeves. However, if you can get a clear-cut upgrade, a all-star, former all-defensive type point guard in DeJounte Murray in the Western Conference that is just ran abundantly by athletic guards, you do it, right? Like there are literal reports that the only reason DeJounte Murray is not a Laker is because the Lakers refuse to trade Austin Reeves. Again, I love Austin Reeves. If you could get DeJounte Murray without trading Reeves, chef kiss. I'm fine. You give me DeJounte Murray, Austin Reeves, backcourt, fine. I'm okay with that. Let's get it. I just think if it's this team's going to go get DeJounte Murray unless you trade Austin Reeves, here you go. Here's Austin Reeves. Give me DeJounte Murray. Who usually wins trades? The team that gets the better player. DeJounte Murray is the better player. Like Reeves a lot. DeJounte Murray is better. So if you can get the better player, you get the better player. Especially if you can keep picks and all kinds of stuff, right? Like, why wouldn't you? I don't know. It's just, if we trade Gabe for Dorian Finney-Smith, we lose our 94-foot defender. We always need one of those. Yeah, but I mean, if you have Jared Vanderbilt, you're good. You always got that guy that you could just throw out there and go sick the pit bull on everybody. TK is a better version of AR. He definitely has the potential to be. I mean, again, AR is proven so far, right? I don't want to just jump the gun. I really like Knecht a lot. Don't get me wrong, but let's let him play a couple games. I definitely think he gives you Reeves insurance if you do need to trade Austin Reeves. Let's see. Bronny is going to be a Walmart Derek White. If he can even be half of what Derek White is, it's a very good player, especially if he's off the bench. Again, not every player you draft, especially late in the second round, has to be a superstar, right? If Bronny is basically an Avery Bradley that that is coming off the bench and is just basically a 3-and-D guard, or a Gabe Vincent, right? Like, let's say he becomes Gabe Vincent, right? Like, we were all stoked that the Lakers signed Gabe Vincent for $11 million, right? Like, not everyone has to be a superstar. He doesn't have to be his dad, right? It'd be great. Like, if he could develop into a top, 10 point guard in the league. I'm not even saying player, just like a top 10 point guard in the league, or top 10 in the West or something like that. Be beautiful. But again, that doesn't have to necessarily be the expectation, right? If you can get a guy that's even a rotation piece at 55 is huge, huge. So, What do we trade Gabe and Bronny comes in as a 9-foot defender, knockdown, occasional three, can't be worse than Gabe. I mean, look, I like his potential. I like his upside. The reason I like the idea of drafting Bronny is because of LeBron. And not in the sense of like, oh, we get to keep LeBron. No, in the sense of like nobody in the NBA, not trainers, not organizations, not players, nobody is going to work harder to make Bronny James a thing in the NBA than LeBron. Look at what LeBron has done with LeBron has done with like Rui Hachimura and just an offseason, right? And now look, LeBron, of course, I'm sure works with Bronny. They do sets. It's one thing when you're doing it in your spare time at home and it's like, sorry, kid, dad's got to go to work. It's another thing when you're in the same facility, using the same trainers, working out the same times, and literally your entire life is just developing and growing your game, right? LeBron will get to literally spend the next 2 or 3 years doing everything he can to make Bronny a thing. No one is going to take the time to grow Bronny the way that LeBron will. Nobody. Because again, it's his son. He wants his son to be great. He doesn't want when he retires, the Lakers waive him. That he wants like, hey, Bronny to go make a legacy. He's gonna do everything. Now, will he be able to make him? I don't know. But I like the odds, is my point. All these people in the chat, only 75 likes. What is going on? Let's see what the updated likes are. Yes, you're right. We gotta get the likes up in this thing. What are we at? We have 326, and we have only 96 likes. We have 326 of you and only 96 likes. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You people are beautiful. Thank you. Take a quick second. Literally take a second, and it helps a ton, an absolute ton. But all right, where are we? Oh, Jason too, same thing. Like, share, subscribe, comment. as Lakers, and click the bell icon. New video updates. You will not regret it. Jason, thank you. I appreciate you. Seriously. Yes, take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You're awesome. Connect Lakers numbers should be 4. Connect, that would be pretty cool. I'm with you. I'm with you on that, bro. Let's see. DeMar DeRozan for D'Lo. Just fleece the Bulls if you can, because why not? Problem is you have to sign and trade for DeMar, and that would hard cap you, which could make things a little challenging. What can the Lakers do if D'Lo opts out? I mean, they could do a couple things. One, they free up their full mid-level exception. 2, they could go and re-sign him. Like if he doesn't find a better deal elsewhere, they could re-sign him and to, another 1+1, kind of inflate his contract, right? So even if he does opt out, that doesn't necessarily mean that the Lakers are guaranteed to lose him, but it makes things tough, right? Yeah, that was a huge W for the Lakers. Agreed. I'm right there with you, Bluetooth. I said the same thing. Too many players. Lakers need to consolidate their roster. Too many players. Let's make a small deal. Hayes, Cam, JHS. 2 seconds for Paul Reed. Well, also we got to see who opts in, right? Obviously, like assuming Cam and Hayes and all these guys opt in. Yes, that could be the case, but it's also very possible that that they don't, right? Like, and then so I want to make a deal regardless, but yeah, just something to keep in mind. It was them landing the guy that I wanted the Lakers to get. What's up, Tyler? Death, taxes, and Bronny's going to be drafted to the Lakers. Yes, right there with you, Alex. What's going on, Daniel? Appreciate you being here. Dalton is a better shooter than JJ. LeBron James, please take a pay cut. We need more solid players. Problem is LeBron could basically play for half his money, and it doesn't change anything, right? Like LeBron could play for the vet minimum, and we'd only have $8 million to spend. Like, again, it doesn't work that. Like LeBron, the only thing like LeBron could do to make things make sense would be like if we need like $13 million to go get to free up the full mid-level, right? Maybe he takes a haircut so we could go get the full mid-level, right? But, I see a lot of people that are like, oh, LeBron needs to play for like $20 million. It's like, it doesn't matter. It won't free up anything, right? Like we won't have more than we already know we could potentially have. So just something to keep in mind. But Gazu coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Season hasn't even started. Doesn't mean the overreactions hasn't Knecht has scored 450 opening night or he's a buzz. That's usually how it goes, right? Like, you know, if he struggles a little bit coming into the game, coming into the league, people will be like, "Oh, Lakers trash." Like, "Oh, they picked another terrible draft pick," right? But I like Knecht. I think he's a guy that has a lot of potential. I think he's a guy that can make a real impact for the Lakers right out the gate. Will there be a little bit of a learning curve? Will there be a little bit of an adjustment? You know, will it take a little time to get his feet wet? I'm sure, right? Like it's usually how it goes. You know, but I do think he's a guy that as the season progresses, he's only going to get better and better. I really like the pickup in my opinion. Again, this was a guy that on pretty much everyone's board was top 10 pick, and he fell to 17. Right? Like he might be the best shooter in this draft. Right? He's got good athleticism, good size, good everything. He's a guy that you really he's the kind of player that you want on your team. Hard-nosed hustle guy, gym rat, works hard, you know, does the little things. You know, you could do worse, right? You could do a lot worse. So I like it. But appreciate you. Thank you so much. I just hope not trading Reeves doesn't turn into THT situation. I mean, Reeves is good. Like THT was like questionable of like, can he actually play in the league was the question. Where like Reeves is proven. Again, like Reeves, like look, I was very frustrated and disappointed in Austin Reeves because he wasn't what we needed him to be, but he wasn't bad. Like he was still like he wasn't what he was the previous year. Like the expectations were here, right? Even for myself. And he was still like here, right? Like he wasn't what we expected him to be. And it was disappointing. But people make it out like Reeves was just like total trash. Like he wasn't trash. Don't get me wrong, he had games, he had moments where he was pretty bad. But, you know, he still, for your fourth, fifth option, was what you want. Like, I don't hate Reeves. I don't mind keeping Reeves. Again, if you can get DeJounte Murray and keep Reeves, do that. The only reason I'm like, you need to trade Reeves is because, again, if the reports are true and DeJounte Murray would be a Laker right now if you trade Austin Reeves, it doesn't matter how good Reeves is or isn't. DeJounte is the better player, right? Like, and he's a bigger need and fit in a West that is stacked with athletic young guards. We need to match that, right? Like, to me, it's like, who wins the trades? Whenever you look at a trade, who wins the trade? The team that gets the best player. If the Lakers get the best player, especially if they don't have to trade all their picks, right? If you could do Reeves and a first and get DeJounte Murray, I mean, you'd have to throw in like a Rui or something, right? To me, it's a no-brainer. And now you still have like potentially D'Lo and all these other things and another first that you can now use to go trade to go get another piece, right? Like, can you go get a Cam Johnson, right? Like, if you told me we finished this offseason with like, you know, whatever, like Valanciunas, Cam Johnson, DeJounte Murray, Knecht, and, you know, I'd be stoked. Like, let's go try to win a championship. Now we can trade Austin Reeves. This does kind of feel like Reeves insurance. I still don't think that the Lakers trade Austin Reeves. I don't. But I think that this is this gives you a little more comfort. This is something that you can kind of like, okay, we kind of see how this goes. Let's see. I think Bjelica is the guy for us. Minimum contract, big body, shot blocker. Really think he's perfect on this team. I would not be against him at all. The Lakers can make that happen. Let's make it happen. You have to get a taxpayer mid-level to a big. It's the biggest hole. No way. We got 2 years without getting a physical 5. Yeah, that's why I kind of lean towards Valanciunas. Can you get Valanciunas with the taxpayer mid? Hopefully Lakers buy a second-round pick and take the UCLA center. I wouldn't mind that. I also wouldn't mind, I wouldn't mind if the Lakers got like even flip in the second round. I don't think he was a first round pick, but mid to late second round. I wouldn't mind that. I wish they would keep Knecht and trade Reeves for Murray. I got a feeling they're going to trade Knecht to keep Reeves. I mean, that's definitely always a possibility. DK and Collier were the steals of the draft, in my opinion. So Ainge and the Jazz saved us from Isaiah Collier going to the second. Yeah. I'm right there with you. Jalen, if you had to predict what ultimately happens with D'Lo, if I had to predict, I think D'Lo is going to end up opting in, or if he doesn't opt in, signing a new deal with the Lakers, one way or another. Again, I look at the market and I look at the teams that are like, there's only like 2 or 3 teams. Now, granted, we don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes. We don't know all the conversations. We don't know the thought process of every team in the league. But going off of the information we have, there's only like 2 teams that really want D'Lo. And the amount of money that D'Lo's looking to get, there's really only like 2 teams that can pay him that, and that's like the Spurs, which I don't think that they're going to want D'Lo, and like Orlando. But I think Orlando wants several other guys. D'Lo, I think, is on their list, but I think if they can get Clay or somebody else, I think that I think they'll be out on D'Lo, right? So I think more likely than not, what happens is D'Lo either A, opts in and stays with the Lakers and the Lakers trade him, or B, he opts out, nothing ends up happening and developing, and then the Lakers end up signing him to like a 1+1, right? That's something that I think, if I had to like guess, probably happens. I don't know where D'Lo goes, right? Like in free agency. Again, there's not a lot of teams that have a bunch of money, and how many teams are paying D'Lo 20 to 25 million a year, right? Like, I don't think that's the case. Now, if like Orlando misses out on several guys that they're interested in, then maybe they go, okay, well, let's take on D'Lo. Don't pick up Wiseman. I wouldn't want him as like our primary big, right? Like as like our main backup. But if like Jackson Hayes leaves and you can bring Wiseman in as like your development big, I'm all for that. I just think Wiseman he definitely needs development, right? I don't think he's like plug and play, but I also think he kind of just got a shitty roll of the dice, right? I think he went to a team in the Warriors that just made no sense for them. And then I think that he ended up getting traded to a team that had 5 other centers, right? And it's like, so unless he was like unbelievably good, they were probably never going to give him the opportunity, right? And then you had like Jalen Duren basically come out of nowhere and become a double-double machine, right? So it's like, where's Wiseman fit? So again, I wouldn't mind bringing Wiseman in and kind of letting him develop a little bit and basically being our third big man. And it's like when Anthony Davis or LeBron James miss a game, you get to be the primary backup. But for the most part, he's getting spot minutes here and there and just a development guy. He's still young, right? Like, so Lakers aren't getting Levine. I don't think so either. Thoughts on a Sexton Kessler deal? I don't hate it. Couple problems. One, I don't think Sexton is the answer in the starting unit. I like Sexton, but I think he is probably best as like that spark plug off the bench, right? I think he's, Malik Monk for the Kings, right? Where, when he's on, you let him cook, right? But when he's not, you kind of have your concerns. Also, like Sexton's like decision making at times and just like gets like that tunnel vision. Like to me, he's kind of more of a scoring guard that you want. Like bring him off the bench, hand him the ball, and say, "Hey, go drop 20, kid. Like you got 15 minutes, make it happen." Right? Walker Kessler, I like a lot. I mean, he's dirt cheap. He's a guy that has a ton. Like I mean, he's had moments where he looks like, oh man, this guy might be the next big center in this league. And then he's had moments where he looks like, oh man, he probably gets played off the floor a lot. So he definitely is not like, he's good, right? But to me, it comes down to the value, right? Like how much would it cost for you to go get them? If you can get them reasonable, then sure, I'm all for it, right? I definitely think that those would be 2 quality pieces to add. I think that they definitely would make an impact on this Lakers roster. But If it's like you got to trade, an unprotected first, and you got to do all this, then it's like I'd look for other things. Let's see. Lakers got a steal, guys. What a way to go, man! Yeah, they definitely did. This was a huge pickup by the Lakers. Huge pickup. Laundry Shamet is our Torian Prince replacement. I wouldn't mind Shamet. Getting an event minimum. We aren't getting Levine now that we have Dalton. I mean, well, Dalton isn't Levine. Look, if Levine was making like 20 million, he'd probably already be a Laker. It's just the amount that you have to give up to go get him. This man is dedicated. I love this channel. Well, thank you. I really do appreciate that. Yes, got to work hard, right? Got to work hard for things that you love. And like I say, I want to be a fixture in the sports space. I want to be a fixture in the Lakers space. So I'm willing to work my tail off to get there. Just want to shout you out, man. You're my favorite Laker content on YouTube. Well, thank you. Seriously. Only one I probably listen to more than Lakers Film Room. Good work, man. Keep it up. Well, thank you. Seriously, Andre. I really do appreciate that. Man, you guys are being very kind. I really do appreciate that. Like I said, work hard. Got to work hard. I want to be a fixture. Got to work your tail off. Is DeJounte still a realistic target? Seems like the price for players in this trade are going up. If not DeJounte, then definitely not Trey either, with Mikal going for that many picks. So who can we get? Trae Young, I will go likely for less than DeJounte Murray. Why? Because, there's already reports that that's the case, that teams are willing to offer more for DeJounte than Trae. And the reason is just the salary and the price. And Trae is just so high usage. So when you're talking about Trae, not only do you have to match salaries, you still have to keep a team that's good enough to contend. You have to give up whatever assets you have to give up. And on top of that, it has to be a team that needs a point guard, which most of the teams already have, whether it's a development guy or their actual star point guard. And on top of all those things, right? Trae, you have to have a system in which Trae makes sense because he is so high usage, so heavy on ball, right? There's very few teams, if any, that make sense to go and trade for Trae, right? Even the Lakers are a little questionable on should they go trade for Trae. So I don't think Trae is going to cost a lot. I think it might take more to get DeJounte because there's competition. Right, I think that Trae, the Lakers could probably get Trae, right? You give up your 2 first, you give up a pick swap or 2, and you're good. The Mikal Bridges trade, I don't believe will have any impact on the market. None. Just like the Rudy Gobert trade had no impact on the market. Why? Because I think everyone understands the circumstances, right? Knicks are desperate. Knicks want to push their chips to the table and go all in and compete. They felt like they were the second best team in the East. They, want to keep OG. They overpaid for OG to keep it, right? They also want a very specific player to blend in with that unit. Oh, and they want the Villanova connection, right? So it was a very unique circumstance. Teams weren't lining up to trade what they got. Right? Just like people were like, Minnesota got fleeced. Most people are like, the Knicks got fleeced. But everyone's looking at it with the Knicks as like, well, Mikal might actually be the difference between them winning a championship or not. So if it works, great. If they don't win, everyone's going to go, wow, the Knicks pulled a Knicks move. Right? So I don't think that really necessarily has an impact. The one that I have concern with is the Portland Wizards trade. That one was a little iffy. But also with that is this draft is not perceived to be this great draft. So, it's just, is DeJounte a realistic target? Yes. My concern is the competition. I've always said DeJounte is going to be a tough get unless they give up Reeves. There are reports from Atlanta's side and the Lakers side that are basically like, hey, if the Lakers trade Austin Reeves for DeJounte, DeJounte's a Laker. Literally, if the Lakers say, here, you can have Reeves, DeJounte's a Laker. It doesn't matter about anything else. And I've seen people throw out oh, well, the Pelicans with Brandon Ingram. Like, okay, if Atlanta is really blowing it up and tearing it down, why would they want Brandon Ingram, who can be a free agent next year, and just leave them for nothing, right? If they're trading DeJounte and Trey like they're expected to, they're rebuilding. They're basically taking Riza Shah and saying, hey, let's hit this reset button. So again, it just depends on the competition that's out there. Who would you trade Knecht for? If I could get DeJounte Murray right now, I'd get DeJounte. Like if they were like, hey, give us Knecht and picks or whatever I'd do that all day. I wouldn't mind Jakob Poeltl. Jakob Poeltl wouldn't be terrible. Lakers indeed got a steal. I think teams pass on him because of his. I am like, again, I don't know for certain, so I can't say 100%, but I'm like 99% sure that that's literally the only reason he fell. Is because he's 23, and a lot of these other teams kind of wanted to get younger, right? Like, they're not getting Murray either. I think it's a long shot. Definitely think it's a long shot. I left the Lakers Nation channel to come here and listen. I love you. I love your content. Well, thank you. Seriously, I appreciate that. Look, Lakers Nation is great too. And right, they're the standard, right? Like I love Lakers Nation because it also gives me like that, like, okay, this is achievable, right? Like they're the standard, right? So my goal is to, eventually surpass them one day, right? But I respect the hell out of them, right? They're a great channel. They are. Trevor and Sean and everybody. Get Murray Bridges from Charlotte would be chef kiss. That would be my dream. But again, it's very, very unlikely. Let's see. Damn, we own his bird rights because the Knicks just did it with OG. OG opt out, then they gave him more. I was thinking we did that trade for Murray. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. Problem is you wouldn't be able to trade him immediately. You'd have to wait till, like I said, December or January. I think they trade the pick to get Bonna, Tyler Smith, or Lebowski. Definitely a possibility. I think we get Bronny tomorrow too. I'm right there with you. Bogdanovich is a good guy. He's definitely more athletic and mobile than Bogdanovich. But Bogdanovich, I do think is a good comparison as far as like shooting, his ability to kind of like step in and hit the mid range, go create and get buckets for himself. Like, yeah, I mean, if Knecht could become Bogdanovich, that I would be totally okay with that. I mean, you talk about an 18-point a game guy, and just so everyone knows, he's saying Bogdan, not Boyan. Dalton's going to be a starter one day. That, I mean, very well could be the case. I mean, depending on how the roster shapes up, could end up being a starter this year. Dalton is a bucket. I feel like he's going to Atlanta or Chicago. Definitely a possibility. On LeBron's timeline, if you can get a third All-Star for Reeves, you have to do it. I agree. Again, I don't want to trade Reeves just to trade Reeves. My thing is, like, if you can get a clear upgrade, like DeJounte Murray, I don't think anybody thinks Austin Reeves, well, anybody that knows who DeJounte Murray is, I think anyone thinks Austin Reeves is better than DeJounte Murray. And they're only like 8 months apart. Like DeJounte Murray, it's not like Reeves is like 3 years younger, 4 years younger. Like literally, DeJounte Murray and Austin Reeves are almost the same age. So it's like, if you can get the upgrade, get it. Keep Knecht, trade Reeves. I heard Rui is staying. I mean, it's always a possibility. But if the Lakers are going to pull off a trade, they're going to have to trade somebody. Like, you have to give something to get something. You can't just like, so, them wanting to keep, like, that's the problem. Lakers are going to do a trade. Rob Pelinka's even talked about, like, hey, if there's a trade there, we're going to do it. But then, it's like, we're going to keep Reeves. We're going to keep Rui. Like, you can't, it doesn't work that way. Like, but also you got to keep in mind every year we hear this guy isn't going to be traded. We're keeping this guy, blah, 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 blah. And then fast forward and he's traded, right? I mean, DeMar DeRozan is probably a really famous example of that, right? He's literally in a press conference with the owner and GM of Toronto, and they're like, "Oh, DeMar's a lifer. We're never trading DeMar DeRozan. He's here forever." And literally 2 days later, he gets traded. Right? So, Dalton is Clay 2.0. I don't know about that. I would love if he could become that. I mean, Clay is like a generational guy, but if he could become even half of that, I'm with it. Lakers versus Boston champion. Let's do it. If Bronny's being one of the moments LeBron retires, I see Bronny being gone. There we go. The moment Bron retires. I mean, it depends on what he develops into. If he's trash, then yeah. If he's not trash and he's actually good, then sure. I have zero qualms about taking Bronny at 55. At that point, they aren't better players. Exactly. Like, you want to take him at 55, fine. Go ahead. Again, like, who are you going to get that's clearly an upgrade or better? Knecht does not look fast on tape, but he's one of the fastest players at the combine and did well in agility drills. Yeah, it's because he's like the way he plays. He's very like methodical in like his attacks. Like he likes to kind of get to his spots and try to beat guys off dribble. Goodbye, Austin Reeves. I still don't necessarily think that they trade Reeves. I definitely think that this gives them insurance to trade Reeves, but I wouldn't hold my breath on them trading Reeves. Again, I like Reeves. Do y'all think Austin Reeves is getting traded because of our draft pick? Again, I don't think so. Still think the Lakers' plan is probably to fully keep Austin Reeves, but this does, like I said, give you insurance. Definitely gives you insurance to do that if you wanted to or if you need to. Look, I like Austin Reeves. I'm totally okay with keeping Austin Reeves unless you can get a clear upgrade, which, again, DeJounte Murray is that clear upgrade. Some say Bronny would be better off going to a different team. I don't think so. A lot of people feel that way because, which I get, allowing Bronny to kind of build his own path and separate himself. But Bronny isn't like the consensus is Bronny isn't an NBA player yet. He's not good enough yet. So the risk that Bronny has going elsewhere is that when the buzz wears off, he's gone, right? Like if he doesn't really develop, right? Also, again, like how much are these teams going to put in to really properly try to grow and develop Bronny? And look, I don't know for certain, but I just don't see anybody working harder to make Bronny a good basketball player than his dad, right? Like it's his dad. He's going to do everything and he can to work as hard as possible to make Bronny the best player possible. So I think that he has the if you want to give Bronny the best shot at becoming something, I think the Lakers with LeBron is that. I don't know about that. I wouldn't say that. Austin Reeves is proven. There's a lot of guys that look great in college and weren't great. Look, I disappointed in Austin Reeves as much as the next one, but he's not better than Austin Reeves yet. Could he be? Sure, but if it wasn't Bronny, we wouldn't give a rat's ass about 55. Yeah, I mean it's usually how it goes. If Lakers have to give up Rui or Reeves to get Murray, then I say Reeves only because Lakers have a lot of guards. I mean, yeah, if it's one or the other, but you're probably having to give up both. Probably having to trade because you got to match salaries, right? And Murray's making like what, 25 million, 25 and some change, something like that. And the Lakers can't take on more salary because they're a first ever team. So they have to give out more. So they would have to clear some extra salary. So my guess is it's probably something like Rui, Reeves, Jalen Hood-Schifino, and, a first for DeJounte Murray, something like that. Maybe a pick swap. I was a 96 like game. Well, I appreciate you. Hopefully there's a lot more than 96 likes now. But yeah, take a quick second. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. If you haven't liked, if you haven't subscribed, do it. Just do it. Just do it. All right. Let's see. Where were we? Bronny is a man. He has to make himself a great player. LeBron can't do that. I mean, well, Bronny has to work hard, right? You can't just LeBron could do everything he can if he doesn't work hard, but everyone needs development. Everyone needs a trainer. Everyone need like why are there coaches in the NBA? Why are there trainers, right? Why are there developers? Why are there all these things in the NBA? Because everyone needs it, whether you're your own man or not, right? Like guys aren't developing by themselves. They're developing with and through the organizations. So yes, LeBron James absolutely can do that, just like a trainer and anyone else can do that. Great segment, my brother. Appreciate you, James. Let's see. I believe DK's age is a bonus. He's already in a man's body and will only get bigger and stronger, better than starting with a young player like Shafino. Well, I mean, it also depends on the situation you're in and what you're looking at. But yes, I do think that the age is a advantage, right? And the Lakers like older guys, right? The Lakers have a history of drafting guys that are 22, 23. They like the adults in the room. They like the guys that are looked at as adults in the room. So I definitely think that that's a thing. David, coming out the $5 super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If goal is championship next year, how do we build a team to handle I'm assuming Nuggets, Wolves, Thunder, Mavs, Celtics from the point? Love your show. Well, David, first off, I appreciate you. You're awesome. Secondly, you definitely got to get a couple things. You got to get an athletic guard, right? In a perfect world, the Lakers do something where they basically like they sign DeJounte Murray, or they not sign, trade for DeJounte Murray, get like Miles Bridges, and then bring in like a Jonas Valanciunas on like a vet minimum or something, right? Like that would be absolute best case. And I think now the Lakers are competing with everybody, right? Because you're talking to starting five of like, Murray, Reeves, Bridges, LeBron, AD with like, Valanciunas off the bench. You'd have Christian Wood, Jared Vanderbilt. Like you'd be in good shape at that point. But problem is like it's really hard to get there, right? Like I think Valanciunas is a real possibility. I think like a DeJounte Murray. It just depends on what other teams are offering and what makes more sense for Atlanta. Bridges, I don't, maybe he does it to try to raise his stock, but I think realistically he either re-signs with Charlotte or goes elsewhere. I'm just saying like that best case scenario would be that. I think more realistically is they probably go trade for some upgraded pieces. The thing is like, let's say they go get like a Dorian Finney-Smith and Valanciunas, right? Say basically that's what it turns out to be. So you got like a legit 3-and-D guy. You got, Valanciunas as your backup center. And then you basically kind of running it back for the most part. Maybe you keep D'Lo. To me, again, I don't think the Lakers weren't, and the consensus was the Lakers weren't far off last year. They were close. They just, ran into Denver and fell apart. With a better coach, right? Better schemes, few key upgrades, right? Again, I think the Lakers would still be there, right? I don't think the Lakers are, I don't think you like right now, let's say you do that, right? Let's say you get a trade for a win, or let's say better case, you get Cam Johnson, right? You look at that roster, you're like, okay, they're good, but you're not like they're a bona fide locked top 5 roster in the league. But they're a team that like with the right matchups, right? If they have a Dallas run, that's not that far-fetched, right? Like even this year, the Thunder we beat. Like, I genuinely believe we beat the Thunder. And I still think, even with the Caruso trade, we beat the Thunder. Caruso doesn't help their biggest problem against the Lakers, which is size, right? That was the Lakers. That was the Lakers' advantage, is size. So Thunder, I think we beat. The Mavs, I actually think we still would have beaten. And I still think we can beat. Obviously, it depends on what they do this offseason. The Nuggets just seem to have our number, so I'm not holding my breath on beating the Nuggets. And Minnesota, I think we have a very good chance of beating. So, again, I don't think we're that far off. And unless there's some crazy moves elsewhere, I think the Lakers are still in good shape. But obviously, I want to improve the roster as much as possible. I'd love to build a roster where it's like, okay, we are clearly a top 5 team, right? Or a top 6 team or whatever, where it's like, okay, well, and let's say we're top 6. Well, 2 of those are in the thing. So if it's like we're up there with the Nuggets and the Wolves, like, cool, right? You're not going to play. You're probably only going to play one of them. So, you beat it. You're in the finals. So, Atlanta will want more than 2 firsts. Bridges was traded for like 4 firsts, right? He was actually traded for 5 firsts and a pick swap. But again, just because they traded for Mikal Bridges for that, it'll be a lot more. One, again, circumstances. Everybody thought, because what Rudy Gobert went for, that was like, that's it. Trades are broken forever. And everybody was like, yeah, that was an outlier. Like, like, it didn't affect the market at all. I don't think that this affects the market at all. I think teams have high asking prices regardless, but I don't look at the Mikal Bridges trade and go, that's the move that just set the market. Again, we've already seen that. The New York Knicks traded more for Mikal Bridges than like the Lakers did for Anthony Davis. Like, if you're talking about like picks and stuff, like, so again, it's just that is more likely going to be perceived as an outlier and circumstance, just like the Rudy Gobert trade was. Right? Again, we saw this a couple years ago. Everybody and their mother was like, oh, no trades are getting done. Everything just got overpriced. And everybody was like, yeah, that was weird. So anyway, like, that's what I think ends up happening again. Again, I don't know that for sure, but I am more likely than not think it is. I like this pick, but I'm upset because we didn't draft a center. Yeah, but who's that center that you were supposed to draft that's better than Knecht? Again, if like Ware was there or like Edie or somebody was there, I would have been like, yeah, you probably should have taken that. But also, more likely than not, drafting a center is probably not going to have an impact in the way that like signing a Valanciunas or an Andre Drummond would, right? Will definitely be the best shooter on the team. Yeah, it's very possible he might be that. But there's definitely a good case for that. I definitely think the betting on Knecht 4 Reeves might be available for a midseason trade if it doesn't happen in the offseason. Yeah, it's always a possibility. If we must do a trade, I think if it's Rui, Shafino, and Vincent plus a first, take a round for Murray and Fernando, then we pick up Drummond and we are all set. I wouldn't mind something like that. Let's see. Oh, come on. Would you sign Clay now to up our 3-point? I mean, if we realistically could, sure, I wouldn't mind it. Problem is that like we don't have the money that Clay is probably going to demand. I think he actually if he leaves the Warriors, he's probably going to Orlando. Is probably my guess. Personally, I think Reeves has a higher ceiling. Honestly, because I am Japanese. Oh, come on. Japanese. My biggest hope is that JJ utilizes Rui the right way. I think he will. I mean, he said he wanted Rui to shoot more threes, which, fine. But I also want to see him on the block more. I still think Rui's going to ultimately be traded. Again, I could be wrong, but I do. I want the Lakers to draft Jalen Tyson. He's a 3-and-D wing in the cigar. Didn't Jalen Tyson get drafted? Didn't who am I thinking of? I know somebody. I thought he got drafted. Cavaliers picked Jalen Tyson, number 20 in the NBA draft. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought he got drafted. Yeah, so he already got taken. I was like, wait a minute. I thought I saw him get drafted. So he's not on the board, but Atlanta's not getting 4 first from Murray, from anybody. Bronny will not be there at the end. I think Bronny will be there at 55. If teams try to buy a second rounder via trade with cap, they lock in a second apron hard cap. Most teams won't go that high in payroll anyways, but those are the above can send out money in a trade. Yeah. That's why I've talked about Lakers could potentially buy a second round pick. Let's see. Sorry, trying to find something to me. See, Lakers have struck gold. We got a hard-working, good player trade for Murray. D'Lo and Reeves are gone. Focus on the big man. Hopefully. CBA can have somebody. Since the Nets are likely trading, then who would you prefer if we could choose either Cam Johnson or Dorian Finney-Smith? Cam Johnson. Like, if we could get Cam Johnson, that would be great. Talk about a legit, sizable 3-and-D that could play both forward spots, can defend multiple positions, young, still athletic. Little concerns with the with like health. Said some health issues, but if you could get him, I'd take him. Dalton had a huge offensive load in college. He wanted to focus on D, but they were putting more on his plate. Yeah. Sexton and Kessler. That definitely, I would love if we could get Kessler. Sexton is a good fit on running on the fast break. Yeah, get out in transition. He definitely helped with transition play. Let's see. Dalton, yeah, please make it happen with the Connect 4. Yeah, is atrocious. Yeah, definitely. Knicks gonna make a huge trade soon. I mean, they already did. They could trade Randall. That's always a possibility. And I think that there's a real argument to be made for that. So maybe they end up trading Julius Randle. I really want us to get Trey. Like I said, I'm all for them getting Trey. I have my reservations about it, but if you told me tomorrow the Lakers traded Trey, I'm with it. Let's see. You want to keep D'Lo. Using our full mid-level exception means we're capped at the second apron. Keeping D'Lo gives us more options. 100% you want to keep D'Lo, without a doubt. I mean, the best course of action for the Lakers is D'Lo sticking around. But if D'Lo walks, we're probably not hitting that second apron anyway. So you're probably using your full mid-level. But I don't know. It also depends on Max Christie's contract. There's just so many variables. Let's see. You can arguably say Minnesota won trade. Rudy did win another Defensive Player of the Year. Yeah, but there's a I'll be sure. A lot of things that I want to say about that, but I don't want to go on like a 20-minute rant. Let's see. I have a feeling our biggest acquisition will be CP3. We should be thinking about getting DeMar DeRozan. Problem is like how? You're not signing and trading for him, and then even if you sign it, even if you basically would have to be counting on him having no market to where he'd take the full mid-level exception, and then even then you need D'Lo to leave. It's just tough. I would love, like, if DeMar would take the mid-level exception, that'd be money. Sam, I'm here from Laker Nation. I appreciate you. As a Atlanta native, I have a hard time not calling the Hawks clown show. Let's see. What do you think the Lakers would need to give up for Murray without giving up Reeves or D'Lo? Just picks. Probably have to talking probably 2 first and maybe a pick swap, or a first and 2 pick swap, something like that. It's just, to me, it comes down to like what does the market shape up to be, right? Like a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people are throwing out, but the Pelicans, like we can't, like they could trade Brandon Ingram. But again, if you're Atlanta, why would you want Brandon Ingram, right? Like he's not going to have a higher trade value than DeJounte, more likely than not. And Brandon Ingram could just leave, right? Like, so again, like I'm not like, it just depends on some of these other teams. Like if San Antonio wants to get in the DeJounte Murray race, enjoy San Antonio, DeJounte. Like that, it just, to me, it depends on what are the other packages. I think that's why I keep saying Trae Young is probably the most likely if the Lakers really do want to make that big of a splash. Will they though? I don't know, right? Or do they just kind of keep it intact? Y'all ready to draft Bronny tomorrow? Yeah, thanks. Do you think Colin Sexton is available with the Jazz getting Collier? Well, I mean, Colin Sexton is available even before the draft. There were reports that they're shopping him right now anyway. Look, Danny Ainge, everybody's available. That's just how he operates, right? If he can get the right deal for a guy, he'll trade him regardless. Unless it's like, if he had like Victor Wembanyama or something, then no. But for the most part, everybody on Utah, I don't know why I'm blanking on his name. You know what I'm talking about. Lauri Markkanen. There you go. Even Lauri Markkanen's available. It's just the price. Can you meet the price? Yeah, right. Like that's the, like I said, you gotta give something to get something. All right. I'm gonna go like 10 more minutes and then I'm gonna skate on out of here. So real quick, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And all right, let's jump into this. Also, by the way, super chats take priority, all that stuff. Don't feel like you have to give me super chats, but I know I'm like super behind in the chat because there's a lot of you here, which I appreciate and I love. So thank you. Does anyone like the team we have? I mean, again, if you had to run it back, I don't think that's like absolute worst case scenario, but like, I'm not like super, like I wouldn't be super happy about that. Coach JJ has already made a splash with this pick. Yeah. Tyler AIS for front office. I'd be all for that. Be like, look, guys, what you're about to do, no, don't do that. I think we'll have to see what the coaching staff and who we have player development. LeBron alone, unfortunately, isn't enough to guarantee. No, I'm not. Kurt, I'm not saying like LeBron doesn't guarantee Bronny's going to be great, and LeBron's probably going to be around for a couple more years, right? But I just think LeBron will be relentless in the time that he has. You still need a coaching staff. You still need a development team. Like, you still need all that stuff. I'm just saying, like, the development team will work with Bronny, and then so will LeBron, right? Like, LeBron will stay the extra hours. He'll do the extra work. He'll do the things that, he'll do whatever he can to make Bronny the best player he can make Bronny. Let's see. Sorry, trying to find something to me. You think Bronny is going to be a Laker tomorrow? Yes, I do. Hearing a lot of rumors, he might score 16 points in his very first game and stun the NBA. Some even are claiming he might be the next Ray Allen. Cheers. I mean, it's pretty extreme comparison. Look, I like him a lot. I think he'll make an impact, but I also think we need to calm expectations here a little bit, right? Like, Could he first game give you 16 points? Sure. I don't think that's unfathomable, but like also you got to understand what's his role, how many shot attempts does he get, how many minutes does he get, right? Like all of that is a factor too, right? I mean, he could play 30 minutes a game, but if he only takes 4 attempts per game because no one's getting him the basketball, well, then it's irrelevant, right? Let's see. We buying a pick for Cam Christie. Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, Kinnick's number be 4 for Kinnick 4. I can see a path to Paul George. It looks like he's going to the Warriors. Supposedly things are heating up with them. Would love Tyler Smith or Filipowski. I'm with you. I was talking about Filipowski earlier. Facts, we can't run it back. I don't think we can either. But that's worst case scenario. All right. Yes, thank you, Casey. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Would be a great pickup. Very few teams have 5 unprotected first to just toss around. Exactly. That's another good point, right? Like there's only like 2 teams that have anywhere close to the assets that the Knicks had, right? Like you got like the Thunder and like the Spurs and like Detroit, I think has like a couple things, right? Like most of these teams don't have the assets to do that, right? And then on top of that, how many teams want X player, so on and so forth. Let's see. The Knicks had the most epic choke of all time in this year's playoffs. I don't know if you could say that, considering like their entire roster got hurt. Like literally, like their entire starting 5, based outside of like Josh Hart, even Josh Hart got hurt. In the last game or second to last game. I don't really know if that I'd call that a joke job. I'd call that the Tibbs effect. Chris Dunn would be great. I wouldn't mind that, especially if you get him on a vet minimum. Especially if you end up trading Gabe Vincent. Yeah, I didn't think he would be drafted at 9. I really didn't think he'd be drafted at 9, but I thought there was a good chance he'd be drafted before the Lakers came. So Max is gone then, right? Because where is he going to play? I think they'll slot him at the 3. Max Christie will be the backup 2. So this guy is legit. Nice, Tracy. Do you think the Timberwolves trade either Cat or Rudy? Not this year. I think they'll run it back. I don't even know if they'll be able to trade Rudy, or at least for anything close to what they want. I wouldn't be shocked if Minnesota falls short again this season and they end up trading Cat. I don't think they'll trade him this offseason. I think they'll give it another year and then look to trade him. Again, I could be wrong, but let's see. Yeah, he went to the yeah. So we're gonna draft Bronny tomorrow, or what, people? Yeah, 100%. I love the new edition. Likewise, I'm right there with you. Is a guide target if we don't pick Bronny. May trade D'Lo. His game doesn't mesh with LeBron at all. Let's see. I don't know if you watched the draft, but man, I'm still trying to get over Hurley. Yeah, I watched the draft. Hurley was there interviewing and doing all kinds of stuff. For Cam Christie, he's a steal. I wouldn't mind that. Get Cam Christie and have the brothers. We need a solid 6 men as well. Walking bucket vet. That's why I like the idea of taking a flyer on Kevin Porter Jr. Take a flyer on him. Let's see. I'd probably take Cam too. My concern with him are just injuries, like you said, and he's also 10 million ish more expensive, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's around like 20. I think he's making 23 million, something like that. If I'm not mistaken, so you'd have to include more in the trade. Yes. Like I said, I wouldn't mind Dorian Finney-Smith. He definitely is more expensive than Dorian Finney-Smith, but he's also a better player. What year do the Spurs picks come in again? 2030. So 2030, if I remember correctly, 2030 is a pick swap. 2031 is an unprotected first. You think we should try to trade for Wemby too? YOLO. Offer him a first and D'Lo. Jalen, throw in Jalen Hood-Schifino to be nice. Thoughts on getting some defensive guards to help Reeves, DK, and getting some real centers so AD can play power forward. Problem is that as long as LeBron's on this team, AD's definitely not playing heavy at power forward. I definitely think JJ will probably give him spot minutes at the 4. So I don't see that happening, but yeah, definitely need some defense out on the perimeter. What's the best play on acquiring a starting center? Jakob Bertel. I don't know. It depends on what the return would yield. But I don't know. I almost feel like you're better off just going and getting Drummond or Valanciunas, right? Like make trades elsewhere, right? Because again, you kind of just need a backup center, right? Is Jakob Poeltl going to be okay with playing backup? I don't know. All right, last few questions, and then I'm out of here. Are we playing in the California Classic? Yes, I believe we are. So I don't see the Lakers signing a third star with the picks they have in the CBA. Even JJ says you have to be able to build with young players. It's very possible that they just kind of stand pat, sign a couple guys. Losing depth on 2 or 1, it's all right. You'll still be fine. Lakers could lose 4 guys, and it's okay. More athletic AR. Got to get Drummond. I'm with it. Drummond would be great too. Tyler Wood. Tyler would win GM of the year in his first year if he were the GM. I would love that. They can't run it back with the same team. Agreed. Like I said, I don't think that, like, if you have to and you just wait till the offseason, then sure. Or not the offseason and the trade deadline, then sure. But I don't think that they should or can. I don't see PG going Golden State. They can't pay him what they want. I mean, he'd opt in. The idea is that he opts in and then they trade for him. And they could, because then they'd have his rights after that. See, no one said he's going to be on his head level. It's a problem putting too much pressure on a kid. There's a bunch of players that shouldn't be in the league. Bronny is already better. The Pelicans gave us back our 2024 pick, so we can thank them for helping us. Very true. Very, very true. Are you kidding me? Victor Wembanyama is better than Wemby. Yeah, right. Facts. I shouldn't be throwing that out, but I figured, Jalen and Hood-Schifino, we got a log jam at guard. Might as well take a center. In a dream world, who would you take, Ja or Mitchell? I'd probably take Donovan Mitchell. I like Ja a lot, but kind of question his game a little bit too. Can he just he's his own worst enemy. I like Ja a ton, but can he get out of his own way? Let's see. Bronny's defense is better than D'Lo or Reeves, and honestly, Bronny will turn out be better than what people think. A lot of trades went second round. Yeah, I think Bronny has good potential. The potential's there. Donovan Mitchell wasn't so great in college. And fun fact, Donovan Mitchell was not looked as a scoring threat in college. He was looked at as a defensive guy in college, just like Bronny. So I'm just saying. But anyway, I'm going to get on out of here. I got to make some videos for tomorrow. I'll definitely go live probably same time tomorrow after the second round later at night. So look forward to that so we can talk and have some breakdowns and whatnot. But again, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me so very much. I'll get ready for Bronny tomorrow because I'm pretty confident that that's what's going to happen. But also look forward to the videos tomorrow. Hit that like button on your way out. Hit that subscribe button on the way out. So do both, and I appreciate you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. Have fun. Peace.